welcome to my virtual Cheetham Cultural Festival sketch session. My name's Mary. In this video I want to show you how to paint a well-known shopping scene on Cheetham Hill Road in pen and watercolour. First, a little background about myself. I started sketching with a group in Manchester several years ago following my retirement from a busy nursing career and bringing up a family. This group meets monthly in the city centre to draw buildings, share ideas, sketches and art tips. I now enjoy my art and illustration for relaxation. Being involved in the Cheetham Cultural Festival is very interesting and exciting. In this 20-minute video, I'm going to show you how to paint this vibrant scene step by step. It doesn't have to be perfect or complicated, and it's not a detailed picture, just a suggestion to capture the place, the people and the atmosphere. By the end of the session, I hope you have the confidence to go out and sketch buildings of your own choice. Maybe you could start with your own home. Urban sketching helps you get your own location and explore what's on your own doorstep. I hope you enjoy it. So here we've got all the materials, the reference picture that we're going to paint, the two buildings on Cheetham Hill Road of the supermarkets, Superstores. I've got a board. I've used a breadboard from the kitchen and just taped on my watercolour paper, A size 4 paper or a sketchbook. Watercolour paints, a tin of. 2 paint brushes, one bigger size, one a bit smaller for detail, pencil and a rubber, plate again from the kitchen, something to put your water in, a cup or a mug. And we'll start by just doing the outline of the buildings, and if you want to practice on a piece of rough paper first, just some boxes to get the basic outline shapes very simply. So I'm going to divide my paper into two, the two buildings, just to make a frame, and onto it I'm going to draw the basic shapes. So I've got 2 columns, break the building into half with an archway, and on top of the columns 2 towers, and then break the columns into half again. So we've just got the basic structure. That's one side done, very simple. And then the same with the buildings on the other side. A line on the same way across. We're putting in the big signage first, and again 2 columns, not quite as high, so you're keeping the distance there. Little triangle on the top, and the same on the other side to balance it. Again, it doesn't matter if it's not neat, these are just pencil outlines that you're going to paint into. And then the front, and then the little bits underneath, and in the middle we've got a big triangle, a little bit of an indent there, and the triangle goes above these others if you notice. And we're not going to bother with the house on this side. So if you have a look, that's your rough outline and squares, and then into that we're going to put the smaller details of the windows and the other signage. Got a little arch window there, 2 squares on the outside, and there's little arches in there for windows. And the same in these two rectangles. And the big sign in here. A little square in there. And another arched doorway there. And in the middle here we've got a doorway that I've just spotted. And again, little finer detail. Anywhere you can find anything, you can pop it in. And here we've got another little archway, a little bit more detail. And that's step 1 completed. Step 3, we're going to add larger blocks of colour for the buildings, and we'll do these one by one using a smaller brush. So we start with red, so wet your brush and wet a little bit of orange and red together to make up the colour of the towers. Mix these on your plate and we can add these to the tops of the towers on either side. Keep dipping in, lifting in a bit more colour. And it doesn't have to be all the way inside the lines. And the other bits of red, if you notice, are down the sides of these towers. And around the triangles at the top. And the two little baubles. And the same on the other time. Keep adding a little bit more colour. And again round the triangles, using the point of the brush if you can. And then the big sign is also needs to be filled in while you've got the red on the brush. And if you notice there's red here, so we might as well put that in as well on that little square while we've got the colour on the brush. And I've also noticed there's some along this triangle. That's it. Clean the brush out well, and then we'll go on to the green on the canopies. So if we pick a light green, mix this clearly on your plate. It might help if you soak the colours before and get them reasonably thick. So we're going to put green across the arch. And don't worry, we'll put the shading in later. There's also green around this arch. So we're just putting the lighter green on for now and we'll put shading in later. There's also green under this arch. Actually done. And down the sides here. I'm just adding more paint to my brush. It's a little bit stronger. And there's some green under this canopy here. The other colour that's quite strong to add to now is grey. So a little bit of black. And white makes our grey. Mix those together. Keep adding white till you get the grey tones that you want. And we're going to add the windows and any shadings of grey that we can see. So, windows. And along the tops of these panels. There's also darker greys shadows underneath these arches that I'm going to put in now while I've got grey on the brush. So you can put those in, and I'm picking up a little bit of extra black because it's a bit darker. You notice you can go over it as well. So that's filling in the black. So I'm putting all these darker shades in. And the same in the archway here. And underneath here. And we might come back and put some more greys in later. And we've still got blue on our plate from the sky, which I'm going to use to do these blue canopies. So I've cleaned my brush out from the black and I'm dipping into the blue again. Pick up a little bit more blue off your palette if you like. And we're just going to put some blue shapes in here to give a suggestion of these blue tops. Okay, one more bit of the black is this canopy across here. Okay, and that completes step 3, the buildings. So you can see the pictures beginning to build up already. So let that dry and then we'll move on to step 4, which is adding more colour. Welcome to step 4. We're going to add some colours for the fruit details, and we'll go through this bit by bit. First, if we start with some bright yellows, if you wet the paint and again get this quite thick on the tip of a very small brush, and if you notice the small details of the melons and the bananas, fruits like pears and oranges, we just dab these into the boxes, what would look like the fruit boxes, and just give a suggestion of these under the stalls at the front of the buildings. So we're just dotting these in, just building them up with little, have the paint quite strong. So that's all the yellows. Wash your brush and rinse it on the side, maybe dab it on a box, and then go for a different colour, might be oranges. And we'll do these in another box on different stalls. That's the oranges. Again, cleaning the brush between colours to keep them separate. And I'm now going for greens, courgettes and cabbages maybe. Different colour greens. Very quickly, not doing anything in detail, but you're going to know what they are when you see them. And then we're going to draw the stalls in around these and add the people. While you've got the green on the paintbrush, you may want to do a little bit of detail around your arches as well. And the same on the top arch up here. So we're using the paint we've got on our brush just to add the detail. And around the doorways. And you see how the picture begins to build up. There we go. And I've made a bit of a mistake around here. That red box should be up here, but we'll work on that. It's okay to make mistakes. I'm just using the green while it's on my brush to define and add colour to these areas. And while the grey's on the palette as well, I'm going to pick up some of this grey and add some grey detail to these buildings here. And if you need to mix more paint, that's okay. Just keep adding it till you get the right tones that you want. So we're adding a little bit of grey detail to these columns. And over the pencil lines that we did before. And while I've still got the brush lines, you can actually just run the brush along the bottom of the picture, and it doesn't matter if the other colours bleed into that, it actually adds to the picture. So we're giving a little bit of grounding and detail to the picture. Let it run down the page. You can add some more water to bring that down. And already that's beginning to look like it's grounded. Okay. Okay, and that brings us to the end of step 5. Right, we're moving into step 5 now. We're beginning to take some shape. We've got the sky, the outline of the buildings and the grounding, and we're going to now add some detail. So we're taking a fine liner pen. This is a Unipin black pen that's waterproof and black, and we're going to start by drawing into the fruit stalls and just suggesting the stands that the fruit are on, drawing little tables and the little stalls at an angle here so we can see the fruits. We go along, put the little tables and the little stalls at an angle. And you can take your time with these. I'm obviously doing them fast for the demonstration. I'm just putting little suggestions of fruits, different shapes. And this is on top of the dry without paints now. So you get a little idea of what's here. And if you keep looking at your reference picture, see it's all just a jumble of boxes, you can't see them as individuals. You get a little idea of what's there. You can do some boxes and crates at the front. And you can always practice these on scraps of paper before, if you're not feeling too confident of going straight into the picture. Already you see it's beginning to take a little bit of shape. You can put some signs in there, some packaging, long table here. And if you walk past this on Cheetham Hill Road, it's open from very early in the morning to late at evening. See all the different colours that are out on display. We can also add some detail on the buildings now as well, sketching some of these darker lines, some of the posts that are holding up the building displays. So I'm going to go along and do those as well. And I'm going to put in the detailing around the canopies that's shading the fruit in the sun, and the posts that are holding those up. I'm going to do some of the detailing around the arches. So if you actually look at detail, they're very nicely tiled. And these are things you notice when you're out sketching on the street. And the canopies and the windows, just highlighting the little details, just putting in the suggestions of the line. They don't have to be heavy straight lines, but they just pick out the detail in the buildings. And this is the thing you notice with urban sketches, it's just suggestions of what's going on. So you'll see me just going around the doorways and the arches. I'm just going round on the signage, and we're going to put the letterings in with the different pen. And this is where I made the mistake of putting the red down here, but we can go back in and put that later. And I'm just going again round the detail, highlighting the window areas. And you notice on this building there's a lovely arch decor around the plastering, just picking that out. Just do one on here, you can do the other side here. And again, picking out the red bit round the building and the little bits on the tops of the building that give us its details. I'm doing this quite quickly, but you can take your time. And you're just painting over the colours that you put down, which is rather nice. And we've got to put the red in there, but you can do that later. So those are the little details that pick out the pictures. So this is the Manchester Superstore on Cheetham Hill that you'll now look at when you go past in more detail and take everything in. I wonder how many of you actually shop there. It really is a superstore. Originally was a cinema and a snooker hall. I'm just going round the towers now to give them some definition as well. The detail on the building makes it stand out. And then we said in this section as well, we'd add some people for scale. So I'm just going to do again the outline of people rather than the whole person. And you notice with the thing with people in pictures is that the heads are always on the same level. So even if they're not the same size, some might be larger because they're in the foreground, and their legs are therefore longer and the bodies are bigger. But if they're in the background and smaller, the heads are still at the same level, but their bodies are smaller. So we're doing these in the background. They look like they're way back. But the secret is that the heads are on the same level. So these guys, even though they're bigger, and this lady's in a sari shopping. Her head is covered. She's got shopping bags with her. And she's with a friend. I'm just doing a suggestion. You can practice your figures maybe on another sheet if you're feeling that you need to before you go onto the main picture. So I'll just do a few more in the background, serving the vegetables or shopping or picking their own vegetables. And it just gives character to the picture because it is really a very busy street scene. The other thing that's parked in front of this shop that I haven't attempted on here is cars, but that's for a different day. So that's section 5, and we've added more detail to the building, and as you can see it's developed the whole picture further. Okay, have a break and we'll move on to section 6. So here we are with the finished picture, and the colours have dried. We've got the capture the scene. It's not a complete copy, but we can see what it is. It's the 2 superstores with the vegetables and people outside. We've got the light coming in, and you need to just put your picture together, stand back and admire what you've done. And if you can, come and join us with the Manchester Urban Sketchers anytime, or follow us on Facebook. Just dial in Manchester Urban Sketchers and see what we're about and enjoy what you've done. So here's the finished sketch. Hope you enjoyed painting and demonstration with me today. If you want to join us with the Manchester Urban Sketchers, see us on Facebook. Enjoy the rest of the day with the Manchester Cultural Festival. Bye from me, Mary.